The consensus forecast for earnings per share growth in this reporting season is 3%, which isn't too stretch a target. It should be quite easy to make. But the problem is that the market itself is a bit stretched. The PE ratio, the price earnings ratio of the market, is a bit stretched at 18 times, which is higher than average. I think what that means is that the market has to at least meet that consensus forecast of 3%. And really, median won't be enough. I think that what has to happen is that those consensus forecasts for the market as a whole have to be exceeded. And also, I think the market is going to be very unforgiving of any company that misses guidance. It usually is, but this time in particular, because everyone's nerves are on edge because of the coronavirus and the bushfires, and also just what's going on in the world at the moment. Everything feels a bit tense, volatility's up. As long as the consensus forecast of 3% is exceeded, it'll be fine, but any company that misses is going to be whacked. I think the expectation is that those two things, the bushfires and the coronavirus, will lead to a negative GDP number for this quarter. Won't know that for quite a while. I think that probably it'll be the second half when it has most impact on company profits, because that's when the downturn in consumption, spending, tourism, that sort of thing, will have most of an impact. I think that the clear impact of the bushfires is going to be on consumption and retailing. We haven't seen that impact on the retailers' share prices at this point. With the coronavirus, it's clearly on tourism. Tourism's mostly a small business industry. There's not that many big companies that are affected by it. Qantas obviously is, Sydney Airport, obviously Virgin Airways. So tourism-related companies will clearly be affected, but only in this quarter, not in the earnings that are going to be announced now. And actually, look, the share prices aren't that affected. They've got wobbly. There've been some falls and they've recovered a bit. Everyone's uncertain as to what is going to really be the effect of the coronavirus and how long it's going to last. The healthcare sector is the one that's been going really well, and I expect that to continue. Commodity prices have been strong in the second half of last year, iron ore prices, so I think you will see mining companies doing quite well, resources more broadly. Retailers not so much. Exporters in general have done pretty well in that half year. I'm really interested in CSL's results to see what sort of growth they're maintaining. I mean, obviously there's a tremendous amount of growth built into the share price, but you know, they keep meeting expectations, CSL. So I'll be very interested to see what happens with them. I'll be really watching the banks to see what's going on there. Not out of any excitement, but really just to see how bad things are getting for them. I think the banks have a lot of potential to disappoint. I don't think investors are fully on top of what's going on in retail, and in particular the impact of online shopping there. I think that there's potential for that to disappoint. But that'd be the main things. Well, CSL for sure. Transurban is a never sell because, you know, it's just this long-term cash machine. Polynovo, which is a skin repair device company. Medical Developments International, which produces the Green Whistle. Penthrox, which is a fantastic business. And I interviewed one this morning, and I haven't bought the stocks, but I interviewed them today, called CLX. And what they've got is a new Australian-invented kiln process for making cement and a bunch of other things that are made in kilns, but without the CO2 emissions that are problematic for cement. So I kind of like the look of that. They say in God we trust, but everyone else has to give us some data. It's in Phil we trust, which is Philip Lowe, the Governor of the Reserve Bank. The market had a good year last year, not because of earnings or because of the economy, but because of interest rates being where they are, being cut a couple of times last year, and because the Federal Reserve restarted quantitative easing in October. And so really the market is strong because of central banks, the Reserve Bank and the Federal Reserve in America in particular. And so it's really about how much do you trust them to keep doing what they do? Because if at some point this year they stop doing what they do, they start putting up interest rates or stop quantitative easing in the US, then the market's going to go backwards. And if they don't stop doing it, and interest rates either stay where they are or get cut again, the market will keep going. And it's as simple as that.